We're here today at CHI celebrating our learners. We had 100 different people go through executive programs for us here in the last couple months.
Well, this is the first time we can come together to celebrate and just gather together in person. This has all been an online adventure. So we had some of our members who were learners within the Indigenous Collaborations in Conservation course.
I was part of the first cohort of the Indigenous Conservation Collaborations course. What stood out to me were two things. First, the knowledge that we gained from our professors, the wisdom that is part of this training, and also the embedded wisdom by being with other learners, scholars and people invested in gaining community through learning together.
You know, we have two executive programs right now, the Indigenous Conservation Collaborations course and the Embedding Conservation and Business Strategy course. These two are trying to frame two different problems in the conservation sector. One being the lack of traditional environmental and ecological knowledge within our programs and within the way that we engage with conservation. And the other being that industry has such a critical part in the way that conservation and nature-based solutions might move forward.
I'm an arborist. I've been an ISA arborist over 10 years. I've been doing urban forestry for almost 20. Oftentimes there can be a pretty big gulf between the urban forest and corporate, ESGs and their sustainability goals. So being able to bridge that gap a little bit in both my language and understanding their points of view has been incredibly valuable for me. And I think not only will it benefit my work and American Forest, but also all the partners that we work with.
I've done some conservation work with Indigenous groups in the past, but never really had any kind of frameworks or formal teaching or knowledge around it other than direct experience, which has been great, but trying to scale impact, it's really important for me to have some frameworks and overall understandings of how the field operates so that way I can align my interests and my efforts to that.
I think what learners are excited about is, again, education that hasn't traditionally been there. As an example, the Indigenous education, that's not something typically people get in the public schools, especially in secondary or even higher education.
For me, I'm taking away some really important relationships to deepen the work that I'm doing and also discovering ways that we can work together where our efforts can actually increase each other's work.
Well, conservation is rooted in community and culture. So in order for us to work, it's great to have a Zoom meeting, but when you get together as a group, it's so much easier to see that there are solutions. So that collaboration is really what makes it possible.
We're focusing on hope. We're trying to understand what are the things that are going well in the conservation sector and how can we replicate those and really build those out further.
How do we bring all of our imaginations together in terms of how things can be for the future that's going to affect things in a way that is beneficial for really all of us.
This is the start of the Conservation Futures Academy. This is day one essentially of a long future of building programs and connecting with partners and driving change in ways that make this a meaningful and useful school and academy and university for the future of the planet.